What's up, everybody? Welcome back to 2nd Street. So I was watching The Weekly Hero here on YouTube. It's a show put on by John Campea, and you can go check out his channel. And it's got me getting ready to go off on an epic rant about if you don't watch movies based on comic books, why you should watch some of these movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's what I'm going to be discussing in today's video. Now, as I said, I was watching this show, The Weekly Hero, on the John Campea channel. It's a great show. You should stop by and check him out sometime. He does this one show every week called The Weekly Hero, where they discuss movies and everything like that based on, nerdy stuff like this that I cover a lot on my channel. And it got me thinking, just really got a lot of things on my mind. And, there's a lot of people out there who don't like watching movies based on comic books. And I understand that. I get it. You don't want to watch it, based on something stupid to you or whatever. Who knows? I don't know. Whatever your thoughts are on it, if you don't watch them, I'm here to tell you why you should at least give them a try of the ones here in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There are other great ones out there, but why you should give these a try. Okay, now one thing is people are tired of watching reboots in Hollywood. Reboots, remakes, and all these things, okay? And I get that. I'm getting tired of seeing it too. I'd like a little more originality, but until I'm out there writing movies to put on screen, I'm not going to gripe about it too much. But that's part of the reason why you should give these movies a try. They've been building this universe for just over 10 years now, and it's culminated in a really big catalog of great films. And I'm here to tell you why you need to watch them. These movies just started off, Kevin Feige is the brainchild. He's kind of like the Stan Lee of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know some people might want to, get a little upset about me saying that, but the parallel holds true. Okay, I'm not saying he's better than or anything like that, but it's true. Okay, he did kind of craft this world that Stan Lee created for us all to enjoy, with the help of many others. Okay, don't let me leave anybody out. There's plenty of other people who helped make all these movies come true. But I'm going to start off with Iron Man. These movies, Robert Downey Jr., this dude, perfectly cast. These movies launched off Jon Favreau directing the first two films. This character is written really well. Now, obviously, it's about a guy who's really smart. He invents things. He's an inventor. He's got a lot of problems, human problems, just like me and you. He's an alcoholic. He's a narcissist, and he causes a lot of problems in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'll be talking about that more in a video later. The next one I'm going to talk about, and the character arc for Tony Stark is great. Okay, Robert Downey Jr. was perfectly cast. It was at a time in his career when he needed it. These movies are excellently done, but the character arc, by the time Captain America Civil War comes out, you're like, F Tony Stark. Well, unless you're team Iron Man, then I guess you're not. But that's how I got the character arc for me as a fan. I got sick of this guy. But these movies are great movies. Funny, crude humor. In the first couple especially, people don't like the second two, but you know what? There's a lot of things in these movies that make it worth watching. These are just funny adventure movies. This is when the universe was launching for the most part. They were really building around Iron Man, and that's what they did. The next one I'm going to bring up, I'm bringing these up a little bit out of order, is Captain America. Okay, this character has been around in the comics forever. This guy is awesome. Chris Evans is phenomenal in this role, but the one thing I do want to bring up right here is the guys who write these movies, Stephen Marcus and Christopher McFeely, or is it Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely? That's it. The two writers wrote all three of these movies. These guys are phenomenal writers. By the time Avengers Endgame comes out, they're going to have written 6 movies out of the 21 movies that culminate the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But these movies right here, the reason Marvel's having and the reason you need to watch these movies is it starts to begin in these movies. Is Marvel started really mimicking and doing like genre films and paying homage to other films in the past, and they've got a great cast of directors that they've got to direct these movies. They've got several different directors to do them. They've got great cast movies. Okay, these movies aren't reboots. We got Spider-Man. Sure, he's been done several times. People are probably sick of him, but everybody loves Spider-Man. I'll get more to him in just a minute. But Captain America, the writers in this movie are awesome. Joe Johnston directed the first one. In the second one, the Russos took over. Joe and Anthony Russo took over directing. These directors are awesome. They're backed up by excellent writers. This movie right here pays more homage. It's got Robert Redford in it, okay? They're drawing star power in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Big star power, okay? And the parallels here, like they drew parallels to 3 Days of the Condor, Robert Redford, old school, and espionage films, political thrillers, and that continues in Captain America: Civil War. Great movie. I mean, take the comic book characters out of this, and add whatever else you want into. I mean, these got resounding messages, okay? And like I said, these movies aren't reboots, okay? They're not based on, they're only based on the comic books, literally. The characters, that's about it. They're not putting comic books just onto movies. They're rewriting them. Okay, so if you want good political kind of thrillers, things like that, Captain America. That's your go-to right there. Okay, Thor, Norse mythology. Okay, excellent movies. Norse mythology. It's a movie about a kid who's growing up as going to be a king, taking over Asgard. These movies are really well written. Really, got good directors on each one of them. A lot of people trash some of the films, say have different feelings about them. These movies are really good. Like I said, they're almost like period pieces because it's kind of like a Renaissance time. So if you're into something like that, these movies are definitely worth checking out. Thor, the first one, it's kind of lighthearted. It's got a lot of comedy in it. Different kind of comedy. Like I said, some people don't like it, but it's worth checking out. Like I said, these things aren't reboots. The originality is there, the filmmaking is there, the acting is there, the writing, everything in these films is there, especially with the Russo brothers movies. Thor, a lot of people trash this movie, it's got a lot of Easter eggs in it. Here's another homage to 80s sci-fi flicks. That's what they did with these with the Thor movies. They started to like I said, they started paying homage to movies of the past, and that's part of the success they've had, and part of the reason why you should check them out. And I'm gonna get on to the next ones here. Ant-Man Wasp. Okay, great family movies. Okay, these are really heartfelt family movies. Okay, Paul Rudd was cast perfectly. Even if you don't, like I said, you take the comic book out of these are great films about a guy who's trying to get his life together, get his life straight for his family, and protect his daughter, right? Great films. And they're adventurous. They're launching off the Marvel Cinematic Universe's cosmic part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that they're just getting into now. It's the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But Michael Douglas is in these movies, okay? What's the parallel to this? Michael Douglas, have you ever seen Romancing the Stone? If you like that, you need to check out something like this. This is like the new Romancing the Stone, except for he didn't have a family in that one, but it was kind of a family movie because he fell in love and everything like that. Anyway, Joan Wilder. Anyway, check these movies out. Like I said, they're drawing star power. Great star power here. These movies are excellent. Like I said, you don't have to be a fan of comic books to like what's going on in these films. Paul Rudd he's an excellent actor. He's a funny dude. His acting chops are excellent as he displays in these films. I'm not sure if you can see, but I'm actually getting a little welled up here thinking about it. These movies are excellent movies right here. Really well done. Okay, then the next ones we got here. Okay, Guardians of the Galaxy. Once again, paying homage to 80s sci-fi flicks. Almost cheap style. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if you know director James Gunn, what he ever used to do this. I'm not going to get into the whole controversy about him being fired or anything, but Toxic Avenger, things like that. That's kind of what that dude brought to the table. Some of his past. Guardians of the Galaxy. These look like cheap sci-fi flicks. Like space flicks. Star Wars. Star Trek. Just something like just kind of cheaply ripped off. And that's not what these are. They're not cheaply ripped off. These things are great properties. They kind of just took from, like I said, they're iterations of the comic book, but they're not direct translations of the comic books. These are excellent movies. Lots of humor, lots of jokes, serious stuff going on in them. Like I said, they built a universe here, and it's great, and it's something you need to check out. Funny stuff, just funny stuff. Chris Pratt, if you like comedy, Chris Pratt's funny. They got drama in it. Okay, Doctor Strange. It's just a crazy, mind-bending, reality-warping trip, man. Benedict Cumberbatch, he's excellent. Scott Derrickson, the director, did an excellent job in this movie. Like I said, paying homage to just like cheap sci-fi flicks back in the 80s. That's kind of what it reminds me of, something like that. But different and better. I mean, they took a lot of they get a lot of small directors to make these big films, and that's one of the things that makes them so successful. A lot of these guys, aside from like John Favreau, weren't really big directors when they came on to do these movies. And that's one of the things that's worked so well for them. They've got a lot of talent that some of them is tried and true, and they're bringing in new talent as well, and it's excellent. That's part of the reason you need to see these. Okay, now Spider-Man. Okay, yes, Spider-Man. We've seen Spider-Man all over, but this one isn't just a reboot. Spider-Man: Homecoming is kind of like a reimagining of the character. It's just not your average reboot. Okay, and the way they are doing this character a little bit different than he's classically done. Some people don't like it, some do. I've really enjoyed him. The guy that got cast for this. But the thing they done here is they're paying homage to like old school like John Hughes flicks. Okay, it's kind of like that, and it's a coming of age story, and that's really what Spider-Man's about. Spider-Man is all of us. He's so endearing to all of us because Spider-Man is us. He's a reflection of us. And he's just a young kid who's trying to get his grips on life, and his life is always upside down. So that's one of the things that makes this movie great. Why you should check this out. It's a good coming of age story, and like I said, it pays homage to films of the past. Breakfast Club, things like that, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, just, like I said, John Hughes flicks. Okay, now moving on to the next ones you definitely need to check out. Okay, now these ones aren't really paying homage to really anything specifically that I could think of, other than great team-up movies. Okay, now the Avengers flicks, okay, these movies these things, they're something else. Okay, they took and they started building this universe, and that's the one cool thing about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like I said, it's just a giant pool of. You could argue that it's not original, but like I said, they're not making direct adaptations of the movie or of the comics here. They're making original content in these movies. Okay, some of it is tied and related to the comics, but not exactly. And the Avengers here, Joss Whedon, he directed these first two great films. Okay, and then you can't say enough good things about these. They're taking and tying together all the narrative threads from all these movies and starting to weave them together in these flicks. And so it really pays off if you watch the other movies, but these ones are just standalone great films. Now, can you take the comic book out of these movies and enjoy them? Sure, you could, but I don't know really what you would compare them to other than just great team-up films. And that's what these movies are. And they just happen to be based on comic books. But the stuff here they got going on is original. And that's why I said people want originality out of Hollywood. It's here. You just don't want to watch it if you don't like watching comic book movies. But like I said, you should give them a try. The next one I want to talk about. Oh yeah, I completely forgot Black Panther. Okay, Black Panther, excellent movie. Now, obviously, we all know what is this one. It's the first black superhero movie. That's kind of what it was touted as. But let's think. We got Blade before that. Blade was an excellent movie. And back in the day, Wesley Snipes was supposedly set to play Blade. They were doing all that stuff in production. But Black Panther, yet again, once again, I'm telling you, another great movie. They got a small film director. Ryan Coogler's he's not a huge film director, okay? He's done some pretty big films because he's managed to address issues in our society and things going on around us that make for great films. And this was around the time, like I said, he did Creed, the Rocky basically, I guess it's part of the Rocky universe. He did. I was about to say reboot, and it's not a reboot. But he did that, and he's, I'm not like a really huge fan of his work. Like, I didn't really like Creed all that much, but this movie right here, he nailed the writing here. The universe. This is a beautiful movie to watch. There's only one bad thing about this movie, and that's the fight scene at the end. Other than that, it's not going to stand the test of time. It already doesn't. But everything else about this movie is excellent. You've got this world that they put together, and it looks real. It feels real. it's so many layers in this movie. Like I said, draw on things in our life, in our lives every day, and that's what's so great about this movie. It's got, like Ryan Coogler really understood what he was doing in this movie. Like the political climate, not even the political climate, but I guess like kind of like identity politics. How the world gets all twisted up in that. But in the end, we all bleed red. Okay, and that's kind of what the resounding message in this movie is. You get an extremist, and then you get his polar opposite. And in the end, there ends up being a compromise. Just like real life is. And that's what's great about Black Panther. Okay, and then the next one I want to talk about is Avengers. Okay, now the Avengers, Infinity War. Now this movie right here, again, the Russo brothers. They come back once again, the same writers, Stephen Marcus, Christopher McFeely. Did I get those wrong again? I'm not for sure. But this movie is like a cinematic masterpiece. There are like really good, serious filmmakers who wish they could make a movie this good. And this movie has a lot going for it because it has a built universe around it. It's the culmination of 21 films, okay, of 20 films, I guess. And so it's got that going for it, but that adds to it. This movie itself is beautiful. It's got a great score. Alan Silvestri nails it. It's got drama. It's got action. It's got a cliffhanger ending that makes you want to watch the next movie. Okay, not many movies do that. You watch a movie nowadays, and you're like, oh, it's gonna get a sequel. Great, cool. I can't wait for it. This movie makes you want it. People walked out of the theater crying from this movie. Okay, granted, some of them were probably kids and me, but this movie is excellent. It is a cinematic masterpiece. Like I said, there are serious filmmakers who wish they could make a movie. I guess I'm saying that wrong. There are serious filmmakers who haven't made this great of a movie. This movie has all the components put together. Yes, it has, a bunch of movies to build it up, but it's a great, even without all those things going for it. So like I said, those are the reasons I think you need to check out the movies of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's the originality. They use a bunch of small-time directors. They're not big directors here. They're making them into big directors. They've managed to weave together this awesome universe, and it's really cool. And it's something that is original in the movie, in this type of a movie. Okay, there's been other universes out there. Heck, I remember watching one when I was a kid with was it Mickey Rooney? Remember that he was a kid. It was like he was always coming of age and everything. But this is like the first one that they take a bunch of films that are standalone films and begun to weave them into a bigger universe. There's been other attempts at it and small attempts at it, but really, the only other comparison would be like the cartoons that they did for these things back in the 90s. And that's part of the reason you should do it. There's originality, there's great acting, there's great casting, there's great everything. If there's anything that you want out of a movie, you can find it in this catalog of movies. Like I said, there's comedy, there's action, there's drama. There's great soundtracks to these things. But if you want good musical scores, it's there. What do you want? That's what you got to ask yourself. Are you willing to just give these movies a chance to see how good of movies there are out there if you're just willing to give a comic book movie a try? Just give it a try. That's all I'm saying. I'm not here saying they're the greatest movies. I'm not here saying that you have to like them. But the simple fact is, Black Panther's getting a Best Picture nomination. Okay, now there's been a lot of uproar about this, but it is a good movie. It's got a lot of impact. Avengers: Infinity War, same thing. Like I said, they are building this great catalog of movies, and if you want to, I'm not saying you have a closed mind, but if you want to close your cinematic experience off and not want to watch some original movies based on not so original okay, it's not the content what it's based on isn't original. I mean, it's in the comic books. But if you want something that's original, you're tired of seeing all the same stuff out of Hollywood, all these reboots, all these remakes, you're not getting it here. You're getting movies, awesome movies made by small filmmakers. You can tell the people that are doing this love what they're doing. Kevin Feige loves this universe, and we all have him to thank for that. That is one thing for sure, okay? This dude has, I mean, and he's been there from the beginning. He helped produce some of the cartoons back in the 90s. He helped produce the X-Men movies. He was there working with all these people. So he wasn't just some dude walking in off the streets that walked into Marvel Studios and said, hey, you know, like he created Marvel Studios basically, and they started building this world of, I mean, with these directors and all these writers. Like I said, it got started off not quite that way. I mean, John Campea, like I said, he's kind of a bigger director, especially nowadays. But I mean, they're doing something really awesome here, and you should just, I mean, pick what kind of movie that you like, what kind of movie you think you would like to watch. Do you want a comedy? Do you want an action adventure comedy, a family movie? You know, a political espionage type of thriller movie? You want something with just, you know, some crude humor and slapsticky humor, you know, watch Iron Man or Thor. I mean, you should give these movies a try. You just should. Okay, well, that's all I have for this video today, folks. Again, I want to thank John Campea and his co-host, Robert, I can't remember his name. Robert Meyer, I'm forgetting. But for setting me off on this epic rant, because I do believe that you all should check out movies from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because there is a lot to offer. Originality, I'm telling you. That's all I have for this video. Thank you all so much for tuning into the 2nd Street Marvel today. Now, if you could, make sure you're subscribed. Click the little bell so you get notifications anytime you have uploaded new content. Because as soon as we hit 100 subscribers on this channel, I'm going to be giving away a digital copy of Sony's Venom. So make sure you share this with a friend and tell them to come hang out with us here on 2nd Street. Have a great day.